Um, Hello guys, Super Anthony characters here, me and Cesar just gonna have conversations. Right. So, Anthony, so I heard that your teacher told your teachers told you that you're gonna make deliveries for classes, for classrooms. You're gonna make deliveries for classrooms with the staff jag cart once a week. Now, when you make deliveries for the classrooms and when you're talking to the teachers, are you going to focus? Yes. Yeah, because remember what happened last time when you weren't focusing? You were walking around the classroom, you kept turning around, and you were talking to them at the same time. And remember when Miss Henry had to touch your shoulder and make you face the teacher, and then you said, Miss Henry, why are you touching me? Can you please stop touching me? Yeah, I remember. And Anthony, Anthony? I don't think Miss Henry liked having to touch you either, but maybe if you were focusing instead of turning around and not focusing on the teacher, then Miss Henry would not have to touch you. Miss Henry would not have to touch you at all if you were focusing. But you weren't focusing. And Miss Henry did that because she wanted you to focus. But maybe next time you'll focus. Because remember, think about that. Miss Henry did that, and then I said, Miss Henry, why are you touching me? Can you please stop touching me? Yeah. So next time, when you're making when you're making deliveries with the staff jag cart, you need to focus when you're talking to the teachers. You say, hello, we are here with the staff jag cart. Would you like to make any purchases with your staff pause points? And you need to focus on the teacher when you're saying that. You need to focus on the teacher when you're saying that. Because if you don't, then the same thing that happened last time is going to happen another time. So you need to start focusing. When you're talking to a teacher, you need to focus. Because last time when you weren't focusing, Miss Henry touched your shoulder and she made you face the teacher. And then you said, Miss Henry, why are you touching me? Can you please stop touching me, Miss Henry? But you know what, Anthony? I don't think Miss Henry liked having to do that either. But maybe if you were focusing, then Miss Henry would not have to touch you. But she did that because she wanted you to focus. But if you were focusing, then Miss Henry would not have to touch you. So next time, focus when you're talking to a teacher, when you're making deliveries with the staff jag cart. All right, from now on, I'm going to focus. All right. Now, when you're in Miss Bossard's class, or when you're in any other class, if the teacher's teaching, and if the teacher's giving out instructions, or if the teacher is giving you a lesson, should you be looking at the floor? No. Should you be daydreaming or staring into space? No. Should you be talking to yourself? No. Should you be talking to each other? No. Should you be having conversations with your peers? No. Should you be calling out? No. Should you be doodling on your paper? On your work paper or anything? No. Should you be lollygagging? No. Should you be doing your own thing? No. Yeah. So when you have a job to do in school, you need to do it. And when a teacher is giving out instructions, and if a teacher is teaching, or if a teacher is giving you a lesson, you need to focus and you need to pay attention. And you need to stay grounded in reality, focus, and pay attention. And you can't just focus on doing your own thing. You can do your own thing when it's your free time, but you shouldn't do your own thing when it's time for you to work or when you have a job to do in school. Yeah, you could do your own thing when it's your when you yeah, yeah, Anthony, do your own thing when it's your free time, but don't do your own thing when it's time for you to work. Because if you do your own thing when it's time for you to work, then it might slow you down from completing your work. All right. And also, try not to blurt either. Blurting? What's blurting? So, remember on Thursday when it was time for you to do your math and then your friend Joshua gave you the answer and then you said, "Hey, why did you do that? You're doing my work for me." And then Joshua said, "No, I'm not." And then Miss Carey said, "Yes, you are, Josh, because when you give Anthony the answers and when you say the answers for Anthony, that's you doing his job for him." And yeah, that's blurting when it's time for somebody else to 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 answer a teacher's question, and if somebody else does it for you, that's called blurting because the teacher didn't ask for Josh to give you the answer. She asked for you, and and he was blurting. Yeah, that's what you call blurting. And you should try not to blurt either when it's somebody else's turn to give a so when it's somebody else's turn to answer a teacher's question, and if you know the answer to the teacher's question, keep it in your head if it's another student's turn, and don't answer the question for the student, because if you do that, then you're doing the student's job for them, and you got to do your own job, and you also can't allow your classmates to do your job for you either. But you didn't, because when Joshua gave you the answers, you said, "Josh, why are you doing my work for me? Why are you trying to do my job for me?" Yeah, try not to do a student's job for them, and try not to allow your classmates to do your job for you either, because everybody needs to do their own job. Nobody should be doing. Yeah. So Anthony, tell me again why, when it was the attendance question, and when the attendance question was, "What are you thankful for?" Tell me again why you didn't feel like you needed to say that you were thankful for Mr. Fortuna. All right, so I didn't feel like I needed to say that I was thankful for Mr. Fortuna because he did multiple things to upset me. He makes the noise at. He makes that noise all the time, and I really don't like it. He always says at. He always says at at. Yeah, that noise is annoying. Yeah, I really don't like it when adults make that noise. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, I think it's really annoying when adults make the noise at. I think it's annoying when adults make that noise. But yeah, but only adults make that noise when you're doing something you don't want them to do. That's when adults make that noise. When yeah, adults only make that noise when you're doing something that they don't want you to do. Yeah, and another reason why I didn't feel like I needed to say that I was thankful for Mr. Fortuna is because one time he said, "Anthony, go out in the hallway or the hug." And I think he meant that I should go out in the hallway or he's going to give me a hug. Yeah, because I remember when we were coming back to school from winter break, And then he walked up on my friend Victor and gave him a hug. And then I was worried and I was anxious. And then I said, "Oh no, Mr. Fortuna walked up on Victor and gave him a hug. I gotta hurry up and get in the building because I have a feeling that Mr. Fortuna is gonna walk up on me and try to give me a hug too. And I wouldn't appreciate it because if Mr. Fortuna walked up on me and gave me a hug, then I wouldn't appreciate it and I would probably get mad." "Well, Anthony, you should probably tell Mr. F that you don't like it. That way, next time, he won't try to give you a hug." Yeah. And then, uh, and then when I was going in the building, he said, "Anthony, good morning, Anthony. You want to give me a hug?" And then I said, "No, thank you. I'm okay." And it probably hurt Mr. F's feelings that I didn't want to give him a hug. But if it did, then oh well, because you could do whatever makes you comfortable sometimes. And yeah, but you could probably walk up on someone and give them a hug if it's somebody you really love. But if it's somebody that's not in your family, then you can't just walk up on someone and hug them. You have to ask them if they're okay with it first. Because if you just walk up on someone and hug them, then they might not appreciate it and they might get mad. So if it's somebody that's not in your family, or if it's not somebody, if it's not somebody, yeah, a person that you could just walk up on and hug would usually be somebody that you really love, like your family. But if it's somebody like your student or your classmate, it wouldn't be polite to just walk up on them and hug them. And before you do that, you need to ask your students if they're okay with it. Because if you just walk up on them and hug them, then they might not appreciate it and they might get mad and they might not feel comfortable with if you just walk up on them and hug them. They might not feel comfortable. So if it's somebody, yeah, if yeah, um, yeah, it's not normal to just walk up on someone and hug them unless if it's somebody that you really love, like your family. But yeah, it's not normal to just walk up on someone and hug them unless if it's somebody that you really love, like your family. But if it's a student, if it's a teacher student, then yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable and I wouldn't appreciate it if a teacher would just walk up on me and hug me because yeah, I would probably appreciate it if a teacher would ask me if I'm okay with it first before they do it. Because if they just do it, if they just walk up on me and hug me, then I might not appreciate it and I might get mad. And I might say, "Can you please get off of me, please? I don't like it." Yeah. So if it's somebody, yeah, it'll only be normal to walk up on someone and hug them. Yeah, a person that you could just walk up on and hug would be somebody that you really love. It would only be normal to walk up on someone and hug them if it's somebody you really love, like your family. But it wouldn't be normal to just walk up on your students and hug them. Because if you do that, then the student might get mad at you. The student might get mad and they might ask you, "Could you please get off of them?" They might not appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, but you gotta tell him. You gotta say, whenever he asks you for a hug, you say, "No, thank you. I'm okay." All right. And yeah. Um and sometimes he'll intimidate me sometimes. And also, Anthony, so when you're in your exploratory class, um, your paraprofessional or the exploratory teacher might allow you to take walk breaks, but if you get caught touching something, then they might make you sit down. So a teacher might allow you to take a walk break in exploratory class, but if a paraprofessional or if a teacher catches you touching something that you shouldn't be, then they're going to make you come sit down. Because I remember when I was in art class last marking period and I got caught touching the pen- pencil sharpener. I got caught touching the art teacher's pencil sharpener. And then my paraprofessional, Miss Carey, made me sit down. And then I said, oh man. And then Miss Carey said, Anthony, why did you lose your walk break privileges for today? And then I said, because Miss I got caught touching the art teacher's belongings. And then she said, yeah, because how would you like it if we came in your room and started touching your stuff? I wouldn't appreciate it if a staff member came in my room and touched my stuff. I wouldn't. So maybe I shouldn't do that with their stuff. So if I'm in a exploratory class, my paraprofessional or the exploratory teacher might allow me to take a walk break around the classroom. But if I but if they catch me touching something that I shouldn't be, if I get caught touching stuff like the teacher's belongings, the exploratory teacher's belongings, then the teacher or the paraprofessional might make me sit down and I might lose my walk break privileges. Yeah, I remember that. So if I get caught touching something like the teacher's belongings, then they're going to make me sit down because I probably wouldn't like it if they came in my room and started touching my stuff. Yeah. All right. So what's your favorite song? I Wish by I Wish by Stevie Wonder. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go look at the song and we're gonna look at the lyrics and tell me your favorite lyrics. All right, give me a second, guys. I Wish by Stevie Wonder. All right, now here's the song and we're gonna look at the lyrics and you're gonna tell me your favorite lyrics. Oh, I like this lyric. Even though we sometimes would not get a thing, we're happy with the joy the day would bring. And I also like this one. Sneaking out the back door with those hoodlum friends of mine. I even put that on my project. Sneaking out the back door with those hoodlum friends of mine. Should I like this lyric? Anthony. We're not talking. You're not gonna. We're not talking about smoking cigarettes. We're not gonna talk about smoking cigarettes. Because, Anthony, if you smoke cigarettes for a very long time, then you could get lung cancer. So that shouldn't be your favorite lyric in the song. Let's look at some different lyrics, more positive ones instead of that one. instead of the one where he talks about smoking cigarettes. Because when you smoke cigarettes, especially for a very long time, then you could get lung cancer for smoking. So, yeah, smoking is not cool or good. Yeah. Let's look at some different lyrics. Okay, Caesar. Um, let's brother said he's telling you about that doctor. Um, I wish those days could come back. It was something about church and candy. Yeah, those are all my favorite lyrics about the song. Yeah, my favorite song would be I Wish by Stevie Wonder. Yeah, and also when you're in school, what are you going to try to do? When I'm in school, I'm going to try to do what I'm supposed to do, because if it's time for me to do my work and if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like say if it was time for me to do my Renaissance freckle on my computer, say if it was time for me to browse that website, Renaissance freckle on my computer for 10 minutes in my math class. And say if I was looking at the floor, or if I was staring into space or daydreaming when it was time for me to do my Renaissance freckle. If I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in school, then I'm going to receive a reminder from a staff member. Like, yeah, if I'm in room 136 with Miss Bossert, I need to do my work, because if a teacher catches me not doing my work, then I'm going to receive a reminder. Yeah. And also when you're in your exploratory class, are you gonna make extra comments whenever you're being told or asked to do something? Yeah. No. Yeah, because if you're not behaving in your exploratory class, then you might get sent to room 136 with Miss Bosser, and you might miss your whole exploratory class. Yeah, if you misbehave in your exploratory class, then your paraprofessional might send you to room 136 with Miss Bosser as a punishment, and then you'll miss your exploratory class. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have to do that, because remember when Mr. F said, "Anthony, do you need to go to room 136 with Miss Bosser? Do you want to go to room 136 with Miss Bosser and miss your whole exploratory class?" And I said no. And they said, "All right, then you might want to be quiet, and you might want to do what you're told." And then he said, "Because if you don't, then you're gonna have to go to room 136 with Miss Bosser." Yeah, and it's not always a good thing to get sent to room 136 in that in Miss Bosser's class, because sometimes you could get sent there when you don't make good choices. But sometimes you could get sent there for a break. But sometimes you could get sent to room 136 with Miss Bosser as a punishment when you don't make good choices. And I've been trying to make good choices this school year, and I've been making good choices, and that's why I was eligible to go on that skating trip. And you want to know something, Caesar? When we were on the way, Mr. F said, "Anthony, what are we getting from the um what are we getting?" Mr. F said this. He said, "Anthony, what are we getting from the skating trip?" And then I said, "I don't know what you mean by what are we getting." I'm only getting something for myself. I'm not going to get anything for anyone. I'm not going to get anything for you. I'm getting something for myself. And then I told Victor about that. And I told Victor, I said, Victor, I don't need to get Mr. F anything. I don't need to get any staff member anything. Maybe I'd get the students something, but not the staff members. But that probably sounds a little mean. But maybe I could only get something for myself and not anybody, not my classmates or the staff members. Just something for myself. Uh-oh, my cell phone's on 20%. But you know what? I guess I'm just gonna record for like 5 more minutes or something. All right, so yeah, maybe when you go on a field trip, you could only get something for yourself. You don't gotta get anything for your classmates or the staff members. Especially not the staff members, because I'm pretty sure the staff members have money and they could get something for themselves. The students don't need to get the staff members anything, because I'm pretty sure that the staff members are gonna have money to get themselves something. Yeah. And uh so let me think. Do you know your routes? Yeah. I know Route 2. Route 2 is out there near Meadowwood. Route 2 is where Meadowwood is. Yeah, is Meadowwood, Newark, Delaware is near Route 2 on Kirkwood Highway. And Route 273. Route 273 is, I believe that route is where the Raising Cane's is in Newark, Delaware. And Route 52 is where the Target on Brandywine Shopping Center, Brandywine. Hold on, let me think. All right, so the Target on, yeah, Route Route 52 is out there by the Target on Brandywine Parkway. And Route 141 is near, I believe they call Route 141 Fairfax. And Route 202, I believe they call that Belvedere or something. Route 202. Yeah, those are all the routes in Delaware I know. All right, guys. This was me and Cesar. We were having conversations about routes. I think it's probably routes or routes. We had conversations about routes, um, school, routes in school. Yeah, that's what we had conversations about. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys. Goodbye.